Hi, everybody. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden. I'm Eli.
And we are the YHWH and the Torah channel. We thank you guys very, very much for hanging out with us. We are the family that believes what, Eli?
That is the lost seven commandments of our Creator are still around to this day. His Son has not abolished them. They are not gone. They are not hung up on the cross. We should still be keeping them to this day.
Yeah, and a lot of people have turned their eyes over and against the Torah, which is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And we believe from the front of scriptures to the end that those are the test of time. That the test of time is the Torah, and they have withstood the test of time, and they are very good. Jade, it's good to see you here. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Y'all rocking and rolling?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Just spunky, make it out of bed, all good?
Yep.
Okay, let's begin. Chapter 12. These are the words, and these are the life of Messiah Yahushua. After being away some time, the 12 apostles rejoined Yahushua and gave their reports. And when they had finished, he says, "You have done well. Let us go away to a secluded place where we can be alone." Now, I think if we got those 4 words from Messiah, that would be very, very impressive, right? You have done well. There's other words that Messiah says, right? That what are some other stuff? Depart from me.
Yeah.
Depart from me. You have done well. What is the difference between you have done well and depart from me? When he's talking about depart from me, essentially he's saying go to hell,
right.
Essentially, right? And so, go on.
So basically he's saying, the people who don't keep the Torah, the people who do keep the Torah, the people who were keeping the Torah, they went out and taught, they were doing what the Torah instructed them to do, to teach people the Torah. And the people who said, depart from me, they don't keep the Torah.
Yeah, lawlessness. And so it's very, very important that we understand that the Torah is for all generations, for all times, for all families, for all civilizations. There's one Torah for the stranger and one for the native. 2, Andrew said, "Spare me time to visit my womenfolk, so I can be assured they do not lack food or suffer." Yahushua said, "Yahuwah will provide for those who serve him faithfully, but men are not always suitable tools in his hand. Go and do whatever has to be done." All right, what do we make of this right there? That Yahuwah will provide for those who serve him faithfully, but men are not always suitable tools in his hand. Thoughts on that?
It says basically that some people aren't always fit for the service of Elohim. People aren't always meant for it.
Yes, and you can be, how would you be a suitable tool? What would that look like to be a suitable tool?
That would be to devote everything you have, put 100% of your life into the ministry of Elohim.
Yeah, and you would do everything you possibly can to help the kingdom and to make the kingdom a better spot or the better place to be. 4, the rest set out in a boat, but when they reached their destination, a crowd had already assembled. Yahushua spoke to the people, teaching in parables, and when at length he wearied, dismissed them and went to sit alone on a small hill. Meanwhile, the disciples had put to sea in a boat, and as darkness fell, tried to row back, but the wind was against them. Yahushua therefore waded out to them in the darkness. Then, the wind being in their faces, they quickly crossed the sea to a village where many sick and lunatics were brought to be healed. Okay, lunatics, we have a bunch of crazy people. So I guess we have a bunch of crazy people in our time. We didn't know if they were back in their time, but it appears they were back in that time as well. And it's interesting when people say lunatics. You guys know about the whole lunatic thing?
It's the moon, right?
It's the moon, right? Yeah, they say they're crazy because it's something with the moon, right? Or they're lunatics. 6, going to the place where they were staying. It was then the cool of the evening. Some of the disciples started quarreling, but soon quieted down. When they were all in the house, Yahushua asked what the argument had been about. But they were silent before him, not knowing what to say. For they had been disputing among themselves as to who was the greatest among them next to Yahushua. Yahushua then said, "Whoever wants to lead must know how to serve, and the humble-hearted serve best. A great man is not one who has sought greatness, but one whom the need has found great." Now, I thought that was very, very amazing. That word right there. Let me say this again. A great man is not one who has sought greatness, but one whom the need has found great. Anyone want to take a stab at what that is? What that means exactly?
So a great man doesn't look for greatness. He doesn't try to be great. Greatness becomes him.
Yeah, you know that's the thing. You know, a lot of people think they're great in their own minds. A lot of people do what they think is greatness, or they seek that greatness. But one whom the need has found great. What need would make somebody great? Like, let's say, for instance, what would make somebody great?
Keeping the Torah.
Even the Torah. I would say in the real world that we're in, let's say a house is burning down, right? You have, and the baby's out the window and screaming, trying to get out, right? You have guys that are walking down the street that look over and they see the screaming kid, and then you have one that dashes off and jumps in the house, saves the kid, dies in the process of it, but saves the kid, right? That man, would the guy that you saw walking away, would you consider him great, or would you consider
he was coward?
Right? And the guy that took an opportunity and saved a life and put his life and basically killed himself to save another life. That is what the opportunities. That's what we're talking about. And it's sometimes the opportunities will define the greatness, and sometimes greatness won't come because we haven't been put in that opportunity where something like that happens. But we don't need to seek greatness, right? Greatness will come by itself. 8. Yahushua then took the arm of a young child belonging to the house, who had been standing behind him, and drawing the boy forward said, "Whoever accepts responsibility for a little child such as this accepts me, and whoever accepts me accepts my cause. For it is profitless to discuss greatness apart from responsibility. Let the one who can accept the most responsibility be the greatest." That's huge, right? That's a lot to take in. Basically, he's saying that responsibility is what brings greatness. Is that's what it is. And if you want to see greatness, you can see a mother in a kitchen that is sitting there doing everything she can for her family day in and day out. Never says a word, never says anything, hardly ever thanked, right? The family rarely ever says thank you. That is the kind of person that is great, right? That is something that you don't need to put your hand up in the air and go, wow, I'm great, right? Because everybody sees it. And even though the people are a lot of people who are great don't get a lot of thanks. And I'm just using, mothers in the kitchens because that's, a core of a family function. And that is what makes families great. 9. After they had eaten, 2 followers of Yahushua came into the house and approached him saying, "Master, we have robbed a rich man. Have we not done a good deed? For this gives him a better chance in the life to come." Oh, that's great. This is great. Let's just stop the lesson today and let's go rob the rich people because we just helped them out, right? Yahushua said, "Even though he used riches wrongly, you have done no more than add wrong to wrong. Evil cannot be rectified by evil, no matter what the circumstances," right? Evil cannot rectify evil. That's something that we should write down in our little list. And every time that somebody says some evil stuff to us or evil speak, we got to look down at our little arm and go, evil cannot rectify evil. If I say something evil to this person who just said something evil, it's not going to do anything right. 2 evils don't make it good. And same as 2 wrongs don't make it right. Evil cannot be rectified by evil, no matter what the circumstances. One of the men said, "Master, I gave all the proceeds to the disinherited, gaining nothing for myself except the fear of death, while the other with me gave only some silver, keeping the rest." Yahushua said, "Then your crime was the lesser one, but a crime nevertheless." All right, let's talk about this, right? I mean, the story is these guys came to the Messiah and they said, "We just took this guy's money, we robbed him blind, but we gave the money to the poor," right? That's the way we took care of it, and we did this so that the guy is going to have a better chance at life, right? That's their reasoning. And this is what happens when men start reasoning within themselves. They will come up with a tremendous amount of reasons based upon their own motives, right? One guy kept the silver. One guy decided, I'm just going to give this money away. But Messiah says, your crime was the lesser one, but a crime nevertheless. It means that you're still going to get judged. The Torah is still the Torah. It doesn't matter how less of a crime, or it doesn't matter your intent on this, it's still a crime. 13. Yahushua dismissed the man and said to the disciples, "No man can push another into goodness or force spiritual credits upon him. Men are brought to goodness by guidance and example." Thoughts on that? That's a heavy Sentence right there. No man can push another into goodness or force spiritual credits upon him.
It's a sin that's leading a horse to water. You can't make them drink, but you can show them.
Yeah, and we are all, every single one of us are responsible for our own souls. Not a single one of us around this table are able to push anyone else into the kingdom. We cannot do that. But what it talks about here, and you know, you have the Bible thumpers, and you know, for years that you get the Bible thumper thump, because you'll get these preachers and these things, and they're sitting there smashing the Bibles, and if you don't repent, you're going to hell. The damnation is coming for you. You're gonna sin. And that's the dude that had bacon for breakfast before he came and he did that Bible thumping thing. And it doesn't matter. You can sit there and pound on that Bible as hard as you want and get that thing. And that's the thing about these 501c3 churches. People get all hooked into that, the organ playing, the music, some of the stuff. They feel real spiritual, and the Bible thumping preacher sitting right there. And you know what? They're going to make that change. They're going to step up out of that place, and they're going to become a good man. I'm going to become a good man. And then they go out, and then they start having people, you know, they on a Shabbat, or what should be a Shabbat, they have people work, right? They don't care about any of that stuff. And so you're not going to be able to force anyone in there. And that is the same for parents with their children. You're not going to say, do this, do this, do this. Messiah says right here, it's by guidance and example. Now, if you as a parent are out there and you're doing great evil, great chances are your children are going to pick that up because they saw pops doing that as well. So it's guidance and example, and we are supposed to be the lights to our family. 14, Mattiyahu said, these men have sons. What of them? For is it not in the Torah that sons shall suffer for the misdeeds of their fathers? Where's the justice for this? So we're talking about the guys that just beat up the guy, took his money or whatever it was. However, I'm sure they beat him up, unless the guy just decided to hand over his money. But regardless, most of the time you're not going to hand over your money unless people put hands on you. So this is he's asking about the sons of these men, right? Before we even go into that, what do we know of what the Torah says regarding this? What does the Torah say?
Sons shall die for their sins, the father shall die for their own sins, and the father should not die for the son's sins, and the son should not die for the father's sins.
Yeah, and so Mattiyahu did not understand the Torah, and because we know that we are all responsible for our own deeds. 15, Yahushua said, the sense of words changes with their transmission. And I have not told you that taking one part of the Torah and setting it apart from the rest leads to error? And I think I read that wrong. And have I not told you that taking one part of the Torah and setting it apart from the rest leads to error? Only by diligently reading the whole word by word can it be understood. Okay.
So it basically says you can't pick and choose what you listen to or what you understand.
Yeah, all food has not been made clean, Christians. Regardless of what you think, it has not been made clean. And if you are taking that, that is an error, right? You're not understanding it, and you have to understand it word by word. This is what our Messiah says about our understanding of the Torah. We need to read it as a whole, word by word, so that we can understand it. 16. Given a single thread from a carpet, could any of you know the pattern? It is the transgressions of the fathers, which cause the children to suffer. For not only are there things which must not be done, but there are things which are to be done. Also things which must be guarded against. If a man fails to instruct his children or permit them to grow up unruly, he is a transgressor of the Torah. So if you guys end up growing up unruly, it's my problem. I broke the Torah, right? If I permitted this. And is it not obvious this affects the children? If a man chooses his wife for her beauty and charm because she pleases him, and not for her wifely and motherly attributes, he transgresses against the Torah. Wow. This is some hardcore stuff, right? Does not the effect of this fall upon his children? If a man steal, Elohim will not chastise the children. But if the man be caught and crucified, his wife sold into bondage, will not his children suffer? The Torah of Yahuwah, as given in the books of wisdom, is unlike the laws of men. A man is responsible not only for what he does, but for what he fails to do. Guys, I want to repeat that, not just for us around this table, but for everybody that is out there. A man is responsible not only for what he does, but for what he fails to do, right? There is so many times in every part of our life that we have an opportunity to do something and we walk away from it. Be it a homeless person, be it something with charity, be it a hug needs to be given, be it that you see somebody suffer and you don't want to be a partaker of that suffering and you just overlook it, right? Everything that you do, whether it be good or bad, is going to be accountable to us and to our entire existence in eternity. And so, guys, one last time, a man is responsible not only for what he does, but for what he fails to do. And though he spends his life in prayer at places of righteousness, but overlooks his obligations under the greater Torah, he is not free of transgression. Guys, we're going to leave it at this because this is a lot to take in. But guys, let's talk about this, right? A man is responsible not for only for what he does, but for what he fails to do.
So basically, you see something and you can say something, you can do something, and you don't do it. That's a sin on your part.
Yeah, when you walk away from the people that you could help, that's failing to do something. That is neglecting the Torah. When you see the people that need help and you neglect them, you are neglecting the Torah, guys. And that is what the Torah is about. It's about love. It's about seeking our Creator. It's about helping His people. Right? That is what we are called to do. The Torah is about love, Messiah is about love, and it's about respect, and it's about taking care of those, and it's about following this Torah line for line. It's not about making all food cling and worshiping on a 501c3 church on a Sunday, right? That is anti-Torah. That is anti-Yah, and that is anti-Messiah. And so, guys, the thing that we'll leave you guys with is the same thing that I keep repeating here. We are responsible for not only for what we do, but for what we fail to do. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. We love you guys very much. We are out.
All right, Shalom.